I'm in the woodyard today. Some vagrants showed up.
Hey, I had to find a place to go.
So today Tony came because he's got some stuff that we're going to be trying out. He brought a Stinger Grapple and he brought the vertical splitter from Split Fire. Had to get the right name.
Yeah. Well, there's so many of those. Split Force, Split Fire, Split something else. I mean,
yes.
Everyone's using that name.
Yeah, well, because it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't used either of these before. And Tony has like 100 or so grapples. You have like 4 or 5, a bunch of them. But what we want to do with this grapple, because I don't have a grapple really for handling my wood after it's split. I have the Frostbite grapple, which I can use for moving logs, but I can't really grab wood to move it. Now we did have the Wolf Ridge grapple here for a little while, which was a little heavy for my tractor, but this is a lightweight 56-inch Stinger attachments, right?
Correct.
So all I want to do is try this to pick up some wood and see if I can move it, how easy it is, because people are always asking me, why don't you use a grapple with the bins to grab the wood and load your trailer? So we're going to give that a try today.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how successful that's going to be, regardless of what grapple you have. But the nice thing about this is the CCG56.
How do you remember that?
Well, compact compact clam grapple. Okay,
got it.
But they make it in a 56 and a 66.
Okay.
But the nice thing is that it's lighter weight. This one's only 370 pounds.
Nice.
And as we all know, the more weight you put on the front end of your tractor, the less you can lift.
Yep.
So the one that you had previously from Wolf, fantastic for doing if you have a skid steer.
Right, or a
heavier
big tractor, right.
Exactly, so that works great.
Yep.
But the nice thing about these, unlike my everything attachment grapple, which is a solid frame on top, is if you pick up one block of wood, that's it. It can't do any more because you got a solid frame and it's clamping down. So all those small pieces are going to fall. This one here is a split top grapple, which means that it can pick up 2 dissimilar pieces at the same time and tension them proportionately.
Right.
So if you've got a rock that's 12 inches and you got a block that's 30 inches, it'll pick both of them up with no problems.
Right.
And then the nice thing about this one is, being that they're split, the inside section of it, you could use that for pushing down a tree, for pushing stuff over. It's really, really heavy duty in that general area. So there's a lot of stuff that they've really thought this thing out. And there are so many great grapple manufacturers out there. But the one nice thing I like about it, they're made in the USA.
Nice.
Right in Minnesota. So our neighboring state, which I really want to push USA made.
Yeah, nice. I'm sensing that you feel the same way about grapples that I feel about chainsaws, that more is the right number to have.
Exactly. Yep. The only problem is room now. I'm running out of room.
That's a good problem.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go get the tractor and we're going to load this and we're going to play with it.
Absolutely.
wide as it gets. That's not a very good bite. I'm gonna try coming straight at it once. I got some in there, but yeah, I got a good one. There, I think I might be able to get him now. There we go. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Almost. Look at that stupid cat. Thinks he's helping. Oh, I had it! I had it!
So what'd you think about it moving logs and blocks?
The logs one at a time worked great. You can grab a couple. It's not quite as good as the frostbite because you can't get the curl under and then the wrap over because it's a little wider, so it's a little tougher to negotiate there, but it works great.
I'll tell you one thing though. When you start working at it, you have to play around with it because experience gets you better, as you know.
Yeah.
What I found is when you come in at a flat angle and let the dome come down, I can get more logs.
Right.
Sometimes you're right, you have to go over the top like a clam
Like
and
picking
pick
a
it
pencil,
up.
yep.
But it does work, and that's something with experience that you could get. And
Well,
you saw.
And the issue I was having is the hoses are backwards, so I was using my in and my out, so I'm gotta think this. So I was a little bit, oh, wrong one.
Come on, excuses.
Well, and I'm not a professional. This is the first time I've ever
Wait, I've heard you've been called a professional.
I've never claimed to be a professional in anything, except for a photographer. That I'm a professional. But yeah, it works really good. I think if you're going to get one grapple, this might be the one because you could do everything with it that you need to do.
It seems to be very well made, and it does multiple tasks.
I like picking up the big rounds here. If you could position where you could get two at a time. It's a matter of just pushing just right and turning just right and curling just right and then grabbing. the independents work pretty good. You saw I had that one good grab there. and
Well,
one good
here's the
grab on
thing
logs.
too. The one thing is these are all scalloped too, and they have these
Oh, yeah.
edges on it. So you were able to pick up those rounds just by the tips of them,
Yep.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah, so if you got some big rounds to move, it did work really
Yep.
well. Nice. Well, let's go try it over on some some split wood piles.
That sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah.
All right, we learned something. These aren't going to do the greatest job on moving wood like you have here.
No,
I didn't think it would, but some
Yeah.
people say that they do.
I think the problem is this hole. It allows everything to squirt out,
But here's the problem.
and wider maybe too.
It could be. That could be a part of it. If you have a solid frame, though, the first piece that you get is going to jam it up, and then it won't close the rest of the stuff won't even fill up. So your concern was what now?
Well, I think, this is nice. I think this would be a nice all-around grapple as far as you could pick up logs with this.
Correct.
Because it's small enough you could get it into a log pile.
Right.
You can pick up debris with, obviously, brush and stuff would be
is
great.
what it's.
Small pieces of wood like this, though, it's just not deep enough this way. You can't get a
Right.
good scoop. So I think that's where the Wolfridge one that we had a little more base to it, so you could get into the pile a little bit more. You saw when I was up against the barn
Right.
there, I couldn't really slide into it because it doesn't really, all you got is about maybe not
That's
even a
it.
foot
Yeah.
here. So it needs to be longer this way. And then I think a solid top, maybe a little wider.
Well, once again, I think the rock buckets that they
Yes.
use for scooping, but trying to pull it out of your pile
right.
here, I don't think that that's going to work out great
Right.
there. you
Well,
know.
our friend Ed Rurup has a grapple that he uses for going into piles and moving his wood because he doesn't want to touch the wood either. It's a deeper one and it's a wider one, and he uses a skid steer, so he's able to force into it. And he said it works fine. And I saw a little bit of video he had, and he can get pretty good scoops with it. But again, it's deeper, it's wider, and it's solid. So there you go. For moving pieces of wood, that's kind of probably what you're going to want.
Yeah. The big problem that I see is regardless of what you're using, you're going to have pieces dropping on the ground trying
always.
to drive over those
Always.
now, and that's not really.
And what we
I wish
found-
somebody would make something that could pick something up like this.
What we found, the best thing for moving piles of wood when we've got them on the concrete over there is the bucket.
Yeah. The
It's big
material bucket
Big
without
material
a doubt.
That's something I do want. I want to get a lightweight one because I'm using the Farms.
I wish I
skid
would have
steer
brought
one.
the other one so that you could try
I
that
would have
one.
kept it if you brought it.
Well, that's why I didn't bring it.
But yeah, that is the Tomahawk, right?
Correct.
And yours is a 78?
78, correct.
78, right. And
Yep.
that's about the right size, you think?
And Dan from Back 40 has the 72 inch.
Okay.
And he was concerned about his tractor, which is a Coyote 26 series.
Baby one.
Well, no, it's
Just giving a hard time.
Well, small Dan, I mean, I didn't say
Small
that.
woodman.
Yeah, small
There you
woodman.
go.
Yeah. Anyways, he was worried about it, and I contacted him and said, don't worry, your tractor will handle that with no problem. It's actually almost the same weight as this, 370 pounds.
Right.
So it's super. As you know, working with a material bucket, that's the way to go to move stuff like you have against the barn there to
Right,
just
or
scoop
even
it
off
up.
of a splitter if you're working where you want to use your bucket basically as your giant wheelbarrow, which is what it is.
Yeah.
It's big and you can load it up pretty heavily. Whereas the bucket we have here that's at the farm, I think that's I want to say it's 72 inches. I think that's how it is. It's real deep. It's almost 4 feet deep, but it's super heavy duty, thick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it probably
That's
weighs
probably
800
1,000.
pounds.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
thousand
it's
pounds
heavy.
or so. Because when I started doing the research on it, Tomahawk was one of the lightest ones
Right.
out there at the 370 pounds
Right.
for a 78 inch. But it's meant for light duty. Sand, you're not digging with that one.
And probably even big rock. To
Yeah.
dig into a big rock pile probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be
No,
ideal.
no, no,
either.
no.
But
Even-
for firewood,
For firewood,
mulch,
well, take a
sand.
look at your brother with how he made that gate on the back of his little. Well, with material bucket, you could stack that
Yeah.
in, and you could. I think I could get a. I want to say that I could do close to a face cord.
on one bucket.
Yeah, 3/4.
If you stacked it.
If you stacked it,
Right,
yeah.
right.
If I'm throwing it in, I'm lucky. Probably a third of a face cord if I'm just throwing it in there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking maybe I want to get what's the next one up, like an 82 or 84 inch for my tractors. My tractors, again, it's bigger than
It
yours.
is. Thanks for pointing that out there. Your mom said you would do that.
Well, the tractor I'm really lusting after is Heath's from Hard Working
That's
Man.
right,
He's
the
got
new one that he's
got
got.
the new 60 horsepower
Yeah.
one. Oh, nice. Nice, not too big, not too small. So someday I may upgrade to a bigger tractor and so, but yeah,
We'll see.
this is nice. And I can see for a guy that wants an all-around grapple, this would be a
Well,
good
for
choice.
grapple, like you said, for brush,
Right.
I mean, just the thing, 36-inch opening here,
Yep.
you know, AR 200
Lightweight.
1/4 inch. It's very well made. Nice thing I like about it is this back frame that you can see through.
Right,
You know, it's
right.
perforated, but it protects your radiator too from when you're pushing logs in and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
So,
So
yeah,
again, like you said, the right number of grapples to have is more because
is more.
they are specific to the job you're doing. And
Kind of, sort of, and we all try to push our grapples or our other tools. One tool, just like if you have a hammer, you'll fix everything with a hammer. It doesn't always work that way.
No.
Yeah.
Being specific with your tool for the job you're doing does matter. This has its place, and the place is in the lineup with other grapples.
That's it. That's it.
So your frostbite and
Yeah.
mine, great for logs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then a rock bucket, a big one like we had from Wolf Ridge here that has the deeper bucket. That was
Right.
great. That worked nice. It did have the dual top, so you were able to scoop into it and get a good load and then hold it with the tops.
Right.
But I still think a solid one for doing firewood with a deep bucket, kind of a rock bucket type thing, but with a solid top so that you can get all of it and hold it.
If you're talking about scooping it from the concrete, like from your pad, but you're never going to do anything on something like this.
Yeah, maybe that's where you want more of, not a bucket style, but more just a deeper tines. And that's, like I said, my friend, your friend, Ed Rurup,
Yeah.
he's able to go and grab stuff and move it.
I have never really seen anyone that has something that's really conducive to piles like this.
Well, a lot of people don't realize firewood is basically, it's what you use to block a door open. It's what you
Right.
use to hold something open. It's in its nature to not work for grabbing
Absolutely.
nicely. It's just,
Absolutely.
it's not user friendly.
Yeah, scooping is one thing with the material bucket, especially if you have a backdrop or like your bins that Bert built for all the debris.
Yeah.
That's great to be able to go in there.
right.
And yeah. So
No, I
anyway,
like this. Yeah, but you're right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grapples. I like that.
well, it's like shoes for the females. They like a lot of
Shoes?
Oh, that's
Boots.
right. Yeah.
One boot does not do everything. How many pairs of boots do you own?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
My
You're
wife
right.
mentions that to me too, and I literally probably have 20 pairs of boots. Some of them are the same. Most of them are different.
Yeah.
From waders down to lightweight, light duty
Your fairy
work
shoes.
boots. Yeah, or my ruby red slippers.
That's
and then,
it.
knee boots and then hip boots, and they all have a purpose. And that same as tools. More is the right number.
I agree. I agree.
There you go, folks. That's all I got for today. See you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. with another video. We're going to be playing tomorrow with the split fire.
Yep.
So come on back. See you then. Good night, everyone.